In a lab setting, researchers point a focused magnetic field directly at a person's motor cortex. They use transcranial magnetic stimulation to send an electrical command straight to the nerves. The machine clicks, and the subject's finger jumps. The subject knows they are hooked up to a machine, but when asked why their finger moved, they often claim they decided to move it. They report feeling full agency over an action that a computer initiated. The brain observes the body doing something, and it writes a story to explain it. It retroactively authors the sensation of choice to make sense of a physical movement that already happened. If the feeling of being in control can be manufactured after the fact, it raises a question: who or what is actually steering your body? To find out where the self truly lives, we have to look at what happens when the brain's communication networks are systematically severed, leaving the body to operate without a central pilot. Take sleepwalking. People in this state can navigate staircases, eat meals, and even paint living room walls, all while completely unconscious. To study this, scientists hook patients up to EEG machines to monitor electrical activity as they cycle down into deep, slow-wave sleep. Sleepwalking reveals a neurological glitch. The motor cortex, which controls movement, and the visual cortex, which processes sights, wake up. But the prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for deliberate choices and self-awareness, stays completely dark. Intricate, highly coordinated human behaviors do not require a conscious pilot. They can run perfectly on physical autopilot. We can also induce this kind of separation chemically. Anesthesia intentionally shuts down the brain's conscious network so surgeons can operate. This data visualization tracks a patient's electrical activity. Awake, dynamic brainwaves drop into a dull, slow-rolling hum. The drugs block a central hub called the thalamus, proving that consciousness isn't housed in one specific spot. It exists in the constant communication between different regions. We can see what happens when that communication is physically cut. To treat severe epilepsy, surgeons sometimes sever the corpus callosum, a thick bundle of fibers connecting the left and right hemispheres. If researchers flash a word exclusively to the left side of a split-brain patient's visual field, that data travels only to the right half of the brain, the side that cannot speak. The isolated right hemisphere instructs the left hand to draw a picture of the word. The verbal left hemisphere watches the hand move, but because the connection is cut, it has absolutely no idea why the hand is drawing. A single skull can house two separate, divided minds. The unified I relies entirely on a physical bridge of nerve fibers. Even when fully connected, the conscious pilot can be hijacked. An iron rod once blasted through the skull of railroad foreman Phineas Gage, destroying a patch of his prefrontal cortex. He retained his memory and motor skills, but lost his emotional thermostat. He could no longer regulate his behavior or process social cues. External environments also rewrite our neural hardware. During World War II, a blockade triggered a man-made famine in the Netherlands, subjecting civilians to extreme starvation. The starvation altered the victims' biology so deeply that metabolic issues appeared in their children and eventually their grandchildren. Modern epigenetic research tracks exactly how this inheritance works. Scientists paired the smell of almond with a mild shock in mice, and the animals developed extra neurons tuned to that specific odor. When those mice reproduced, their offspring were born already possessing those extra almond-detecting cells. Your neural wiring is actively shaped by the physical stressors and traumas of your ancestors long before you were born. The brain is a decentralized machine built from 90 billion neurons. It generates the sensation of agency specifically to help you make sense of your own actions in the world. But trying to exert conscious control over everything actually degrades human performance. If a basketball player overthinks a highly practiced free throw, they choke. To observe the brain operating at peak creativity, researchers put professional freestyle rappers inside an fMRI scanner and asked them to improvise entirely new lyrics on the spot. This diagram shows the contrast. When the artists enter a flow state, the glowing prefrontal cortex, the center of conscious self-monitoring, actually turns off. Deactivating the conscious pilot allows the deeper, highly trained unconscious networks to take over. You are a vast, multidimensional system of hidden biological and historical forces. The evidence suggests that we perform at our most effective not when we over-monitor every move, but when we accept that the unconscious layers of the brain are just as much a part of the self as the pilot.